KPIX 5 broke the news that BART does not routinely release surveillance video out of concern for perpetuating racial stereotypes. But our Melissa Kane spoke to a manager who is now changing her story. Melissa?
Yeah, today we spoke to BART's Executive Director of External Communications, Carrie Hamill. We wanted to know more about a memo and email she wrote saying one reason BART doesn't always issue press releases or surveillance video when crimes happen is because they don't want to unfairly characterize riders of color. But when confronted, she offered a new explanation.
The law considers minors to be in a different category. We don't release when it comes to minors. This is all about the release of videos for minors.
Carrie Hamill now tells KPIX 5 that the reason BART hasn't turned over surveillance video of 3 recent robberies involving multiple attackers is because the agency believes the perpetrators are minors.
The statements that I made to the board members were that we don't release when it comes to minors.
But Hamill didn't mention minors or anything about the age of suspects in a July 7th memo where she laid out the agency's policy of public access to crime data. In the memo, she did write that press releases could unfairly affect and characterize riders of color. But you didn't even mention the word minor or juvenile in the memo.
The word minor is definitely in the memo.
But that is not true. We checked the memo. There is no reference to minors or people's ages. It's only in your follow-up email when you were asked to explain that portion.
The word minor is definitely in the memo. I was definitely talking about video in relationship to minors. That's what the hot topic was about.
BART board member asked Hamill to elaborate on the race concerns in the memo, and she did. In an emailed response, Hamill expressed concern about sensationalizing videos that involve minority suspects, particularly when they are minors. But in 3 paragraphs about race and the media, that's the only reference Hamill made to minors. So we asked her again. You didn't even mention the idea or the notion that these people were juveniles in your initial memo to the board of directors, and you only mentioned that they were minors once in the follow-up email. You spent far more time talking about not perpetuating racial stereotypes. Could you please address that?
The conversation about releasing the video has been going on for months.
The memo also said that it would make BART look crime-ridden to publicize petty crimes like these recent robberies.
We know that our riders are concerned about it, and we're very concerned with making sure that there's a number of strategies that are underway now.
Now, to be clear, Carrie Hamill is the person who decides what crime information is made public. The police chief makes recommendations, but she is where the buck stops. And apparently, she has decided in the last 3 days to change her policy.
And BART has just decided to stop sending out police logs as well, making it harder for people like us, journalists, as well as the public, to get details about these crimes. Did the police chief address this?
Yeah, I mean, it's an issue of timing that's really interesting here. But BART is now using something called crimemapping.com, which gives really basic information like robbery at 8 p.m. at this location. But the police log had more narrative detail. But when you ask BART about this, they just say that other jurisdictions use crime mapping too. But today I asked, do other police agencies only use crime mapping with no other detailed information, like BART is proposing to do?
I'm not aware of an agency that just uses crime mapping. It's just one component of your outreach to the media. So I wouldn't promote using that in lieu of press releases or a press conference or anything like that.
So to be fair, Chief Rojas has only been with BART for about a month and a half, and he says he is working with the communications department to provide more detailed information on an ongoing basis.